Hello, everyone. Craig DeLuz coming at you from the FPC newsroom with some breaking news regarding a recently filed lawsuit. Yesterday, a couple of Second Amendment advocates filed suit against the Attorney General for the state of Massachusetts. Brent Carlton of the Commonwealth Second Amendment, as well as Brandon Combs. You guys all know Brandon Combs, Firearms Policy Coalition, Firearms Policy Foundation, Cal Guns Foundation, as well as the California Association of Federal Firearms Licensees. Now, each of them had submitted some Public Records Act requests, and unfortunately, they were denied for, well, we'll just say a not too very good reason. Now, the information that they were looking for was relating to CODISFreeSpeech.com, Firearms Policy Coalition, FPC, Firearms Policy Foundation, FPF, Cal Guns Foundation, CGF, California Association of Federal Firearms Licensees, CalFFL, Brandon Combs, Gene Hoffman, and communications with Amazon, AWS, or Amazon Web Services, including but not limited to communications to or from E2-abuse at Amazon about CODIS free speech or the term liberator or liberator_complete.zip. Now, you're wondering, what is all of this stuff about? What does all that have to do? Well, oh, by the way, there was also a second request that was put in. Let me not forget that. And the second request dealt with Defense Distributed, GhostGunner.net, Shopify, Ghost Gunner, Ghost Gunner 2, CNC 80% lower. Now, I think you guys can kind of see where this is going. A lot of this all has to do with what appears to be the tech companies, or these tech companies that are censoring free speech. The ability of organizations like Defense Distributed, like the Firearms Policy Coalition, from being able to publish online accurate and truthful information. Right? That's all that we were trying to put out there. You guys might remember Amazon issued a takedown of CODIS free speech, and that's where CODIS free speech was being hosted. About that same time, Facebook and Instagram actually banned CODIS free speech. No links, no nothing would be allowed to go to that particular website. Shopify deplatformed Defense Distributed's e-commerce store. Now remember, Defense Distributed is the company that actually originally put out the blueprints for the Liberator, which was a 3D printable gun, as well as other firearms that could be done from an 80% lower, from using their Ghost Gunner machine, tool machine. Anyway, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, so and by the way, this was all about the time that a Seattle judge, or a federal judge in Seattle, issued both a temporary restraining order and then a preliminary injunction against the state. And again, when I say the State Department, is what I'm referring to. The State Department, as they saw it, because they were frustrated because there was a settlement between Defense Distributed and the State Department, which allowed them to be able to put that information out there, and certain states' attorney generals did not want that to happen. So what we wanted to find out, or what Brandon and Brent wanted to find out, was who was telling these entities they had to take it down. Who was talking to Shopify? Who was talking to Amazon? Who was telling Facebook, you've got to take these things down? Because that's how they were kind of couching it, was, well, the government told us to take it down, so we had to take it down. So we wanted to find out who was telling them to take it down. Now, what we know is as we issued out information or information requests for public information, or Information Act requests, or Public Records Act requests, whatever you call them in your state, as we put that information out there, seeking information, some states have, in fact, already gotten back to us. A couple of them. One would be Vermont. The other would be Maryland. If you go to our website, just follow a link in the description of this video. You can see what their responses were. But this particular Attorney General, Maura Healey, decided that, she was not going to comply. And she had a very interesting reason as to why not. Let me show you. So, in her response, and this was on August 29th, she said a response to Brent and to and to Brendan, and this is what she had to say. Please be advised that the AGO is currently involved in litigation and one or more investigations concerning 3D printed guns. The disclosure of any records related to the ongoing matters that have been and continue to be compiled by this office would divulge our litigation, pre-litigation, and investigative strategies, and reveal our sources of information such that our legal and enforcement positions would be compromised. We cannot provide any more specificity about the request records without disclosing these AGO and legal investigative strategies. So, in other words, what they're saying is that, well, we got an investigation going on, or we have litigation going on, and, well, we don't have to tell you. Well, the reason for the lawsuit is because, A.G. Healey, yes, you do. You have a legal obligation. This is public information. It's not your information. It's public information. And if you are utilizing your position as Attorney General to subvert, the law, to violate the rights, the free speech rights of individuals and organizations, that information needs to be made available. Now, this is nothing new. We've seen top cops from various different states, whether it's Washington, whether it's the state of California. In Washington, it's Bob Ferguson. In California, it's Javier Becerra. We've seen these quote-unquote top cops say that, well, our job is enforcing the law, but yet and still they seem to think that the law does not apply to them. Well, guess what? Yes, it does, and that's the reason why this lawsuit has been filed. And it's vitally important that we make sure that these top cops, that these enforcers of the law, understand that the law does apply to them. Just because you're tasked with enforcing the law does not mean that you are above the law. All right? And we, unfortunately, because obviously the top executives in your state won't hold you accountable, it's now been placed upon individuals and organizations to hold these individuals accountable. So we're going to need your support. We're going to need you guys to help us as we fight to make sure this information is made public. Now, this may or may not be information that you're interested in, but here's the thing, folks, is that we need to make sure, because these sorts of Public Records Act requests, these are the ways in which we hold government accountable on stuff that you do care about. Even if you don't care about 3D printed guns, you should care about the free speech of civil rights organizations that defend your right to keep and bear arms. You should care about their rights being subjugated. You should care about that, because inevitably, if they can sue the organization, if they can make sure that the organizations that represent you don't have a right to free speech, they will eventually make sure that you do not have a right to free speech. So we need to make sure that this information is out there and that it's made available. Now, you can support the effort. Just go to firearms-policy.org/CIFS-defense-distributed-record requests, and you can get all the information on this particular lawsuit. Or let me just make it easy. Follow the link in the description to this video. And then you can find out all the information that you need to find out about this particular lawsuit. And while you're there, you can also support the lawsuit with a tax-deductible contribution. So please go ahead and do that. Please support us as we support your right to keep and bear arms. Remember, this is a fight for our civil rights. We have got to use them or we're going to lose them. You guys take care.
If you like our videos, follow, subscribe, like, and share.